Hi, I'm Mike Gorski. I don't know, some of you have heard of me, some have not. Uh, Today I'm going to, with some help, videotape a collection here that I've been collecting for 30 plus years. People have asked me over the years for a video of the collection over the years, and I guess that's all I could say about my background here, other than I collected and restored and reproduced and copied and different machines over the years. We're going to start here with some of the vending machines. I'll play them as we go along here and comment on them. This is very early pulver. They use those outside in the weather, and so condition-wise, finding one in good condition is very difficult. But they're very colorful. And the way it would work, it put a penny in here, and we'll push it in. Now this next one is a Baker Boy. It's called a mannequin vendor. It dispenses a gumball, the little Baker Boy in there with the scoop. He'll scoop up the gumball, as you'll see here. Push it back here. And then you'll get your gumball out here. And the rest of these are similar machines. This is a pretty unusual one. This is called a Robo Salesman, made in the 30s. Late 20s, early 30s. I think there's only 4 or 5 of them known to exist. Evidently, the company went out of business during the Depression. And the way it works, it's called a bulk vendor. A penny is inserted, and the little man in there, he'll take his little container there and move it. He's slow, but he'll work. And he'll push the... said he'll work. There he goes. Pushes the little flap, and the peanuts or whatever will fall in the little container, and he'll come back and he'll dump it. And this is a they call this the Smiling Sam peanut machine. You would insert a penny in top, pull his tongue, and you would put your hand underneath and get a handful of peanuts. Great machine, probably from the 20s, I would guess, 20s or 30s. And what you see here is just a museum quality, I don't know what you call it, but it's a drugstore item. It was used in a drugstore for display only, of all of the toxins and antitoxins and all the hypodermic needles in different sizes and just rabies serums and things like that. Not related to machines or anything, but a great interesting piece. And we get a penny here. For the next item here is this is called a Roofski donkey. These were made around the turn of the century by the Roover Brothers Company out of New York. They were successful in their time. Very well built. There's only a few known to exist that survived the 100 years since they were made. This particular one is a replica that I made. In fact, I made a few of them, and this is the last one of about 25 or 30 of them that were made over the last 20 years. The way it works, the penny is inserted, and the donkey will wiggle his ears, he will chatter with his mouth, with his left hand he'll look you over with a monocle, with his right hand with a wand he'll spin the wheel, and that the wheel stops at, that number would be your fortune number. So you would look at the fortune card in the back and look at number 10, and that would be your fortune. So it didn't really dispense anything. Get a couple more pennies here. Penny thing. But wonderful machine, very well built, all cast iron and double glass, all brass gears. Very complicated mechanism, but very heavy. It's plated in antique copper, but a wonderful, well-built machine. All the castings are iron. This is a true replication of what the original was made out of, and the workmanship is pretty close. The clothes were copied from an original, and the way I did it is I had an original and I took it 100% apart and just copied everything, had patterns made for the iron work, and different technicians and artists from the area here all helped in completing it. But it's been operation of these things have been almost flawless. Well, much better than the originals. But I don't know if you could hear on the video, but the donkey is actually chattering with her teeth. All right, we'll move on to the next item. This is just unusual. Most people say, "Hey, it's a barber chair," and no, it isn't. It's the only one I've ever seen, but it's a shoe shine stand. It has a little drawer here for polish and so forth. Little things you pull out here for your feet, and just interesting piece. Probably used pool room, something like that. But a great, well-built shoe shine stand. This is a Ruver Puss in Boots. Actually, we call them affectionately here in this area Rooskis. Ruver Company made these about 1900, turn of the century, and they were used for vending fortune cards, and I believe on the patent papers also for vending different items, but I've never seen one that has vended anything other than a fortune card, except this one. This is a replica, another Gorsky replica, exact replication of the original. The machine actually vends chocolate bars, little Andy's chocolate bars. I'll just demonstrate here. I put a penny in, pull the handle down, and then the cat will greet you. He'll turn, a little chocolate bar pops out in the tray. He dumps it, he closes it, and he nods, "Thank you." The replicas, there have been some improvements over the originals, in so much as I've got real cat whiskers on the cat, also glass eyes, and of course they work a lot better than the originals also. But played a couple times here, give you a good idea what it does. And wonderful machine to give someone a little chocolate bars they leave if someone's visiting, put in your foyer of your home and set it right there, and kids come over and put a penny in and they get a little chocolate bar. Machine is made out of old quarter saw oak wood, iron castings. Everything's iron. Everything's made exactly the same as the original. There's a compartment on the side here that is closed with the door. You open the door up, and there's a place to put up to about 50 little chocolate bars. Very heavy. It's got a clockwork mechanism in it, and The next thing here is just a old Edison. No, it's a Columbia record player, nickel operated. It plays a cylinder record. The way these work, they have places, arcades, where they have multiples of these, and you could put your nickel in, and you would hold these earpieces in each ear and hear the record play. As the technology progressed, they did away with the ear tubes and they had a horn coming out. But this is one of the early ones. This machine here is called the Cayley Hygienic Exerciser. It's a lung testing machine that gauges your lung power, determined by the amount of liquid that you're able to blow up into the tube. This machine here, it was an early machine. We don't know of any originals that exist. This is not a original. Well, actually, it's better than an original. But it's one of the replicas that was made from a picture in an old Cayley catalog. And it's mounted on a cast iron Cayley stand. And the casting in back, it says Cayley's Hygienic Exerciser. Is a casting of a muscle man. And the marquee has lettering on three sides. All the castings are iron. And the way it worked, when a penny is inserted into the machine, when the penny is inserted, then the player of the machine would grab the hose with the mouthpiece and take a deep breath and blow into it, and the liquid in a copper tank would rise in the tube itself, and there's numbers, and whatever number that the level at the top of the liquid stopped at, that would be your strength. Here we go. I'll take a deep breath first. When the liquid it goes to the bottom, the air is sucked into the tank from the bottom of the machine through the top of that tube. And when you blow into the tank, raising the liquid, the air is displaced through the tube to give you a smooth operation. This is made of all iron castings and old quarter sawed oak wood, a fun machine. Another one of the Gorsky replications. And I guess that's all in this room here. This is the arcade room in the Gorski collection. We all know what this photograph is here, but the interesting piece that I picked up recently was this advertising sign. I believe it to be one of a kind. It was probably used in the lobby of a medical building, and it would be on all day showing what this dentist, Dr. Vasey, was able to do. A very well-made sign with false teeth working and false teeth showing how a crown is inserted, and it shows a picture of a pretty girl with bad teeth with missing, and then with good teeth, and it shows how the crown would work and fill in that void. Also little signs that turn telling how what good work he does in the evening hours for working people and out-of-town people, one-day service, and things like that. I'm going to reach up and turn it on, and you have a stained glass a tooth in the back there, but just a wonderful, one-of-a-kind sign, I'm sure made around the turn of the century. I love the part with the pretty girl with good teeth and with bad teeth, and how that crown just fills everything in on top there, and the false teeth chewing away there. Just a wonderful sign. Turn it off. And this machine, well, you can't get that one. But the rest of this stuff here, machines here, they're peep show machines. Put a penny in, and there'd be like 15 stereo cards inside that would flip over one at a time. This one here, very fancy, very nice quarter sawed oak wood, made by the Rosenfield Company. And this one here, this was a peep show machine made by the Cayley Company. It's called a Kaleidoscope. And this one here, it's got a cash box, a drawer here, and all quarter sawed oak wood with beveled panels and marble columns and all cast iron castings. Just a very fancy machine made by the Cayley Company. It was very successful. This was a Mills machine made in competition with the Cayley Company. It's called a Mills Cathedral. Made to do the same thing. There'd be a mechanism there with 15 cards, and you would crank it up to give you so many penny plays, and it would drop the stereo cards till 15 were filled and shut off, ready for the next penny. Made out of nice oak wood and iron castings. This is another Kaleidoscope, another peep show machine made by Cayley. Okay, the syrup dispensers, I started collecting those about probably 25 years ago. Probably most of them were acquired about that time. I've limited to whatever I could fit on the shelves here. I think we've got 25 on here. And I don't want any more than that. If I find something new, if I could upgrade, I'll upgrade. But these things, I don't know that much about them. It's the coin-op was my music, were my main collection, and most of these came in one shot out of California many years ago, and then I added a few in the meantime. But anyway, they're very colorful, and I'm limiting the collection to whatever I could put on these 5 shelves. And that's all I can say about the collection, except these things are very collectible, and I know prices fluctuate quite a bit on them. The rarest one here is one that I didn't know till recently, is this Jim Dandy root beer. I always thought the Cherry Chick up there was the best one, but it ends up this Jim Dandy. And that's all I can say about the Surface Spencers. This is the saloon room, or speakeasy. We call it different things. These are some of the uprights that I've acquired over the years. This one here, it's kind of special. It came from Ohio here, and it's one of the few machines I've ever found with the original plating, the original finish, the original locks and keys, and the music box that has had extremely little use. I'll play it once or twice here. The way it works, you get on the different colors and push the little lever in the side, pull the handle down, and then the wheel spins around, and if you get the color you picked, you win. But the music on this one is kind of special because it has so little use. And the rest of the uprights here, there's a 25-cent 20th century here, and this I always consider one of the most beautiful machines that Mills made, the Jackpot Dewey with the gargoyle legs and the ladies on the head there, and the dogs, and just a very beautiful machine. And this is a double Cayley with music. A centaur on the one side here with a jackpot, and the other side a big six. And I don't know if you get the rest of them. We have a Cayley, not a Cayley, but a Watling. What does it say on it? The New Century Puck. Just immaculate condition. The wheel is like it left the factory, and the other two, which you won't see as I'm pointing these out, is the Mills Chicago with music, and a electric machine made by Berger. It's called a Monondoc, named after the largest building in Detroit or Chicago. I forget what city. This is a stuffed rattlesnake here. We have some saloon pictures. A lot of these were acquired from Savona's Nickelodeon Tavern in New York. Chicago. And I guess that's all you guys are able to catch on the camera. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put a nickel on the Nickelodeon, and there's all kinds of things here that move around automatically. Maybe you could pan those as the Nickelodeon goes on. This automaton here is a kind of a rare piece made in France. I think there's about 4 or 5 of them knowing to exist. It was probably made in the late 20s from what I hear, and it's really a fun piece. How they use it for advertising, whatever, I really don't know, but it's I've modified it some by putting a laughing device in here. But he is one happy guy. He puts a smile on everyone's face. And it looks like he just got a shipment of Viagra in, I think. So he's just hilarious. In fact, my friend Tim LeGanke's got one, and Bill Howard has got one, and I think there's 2 others known around the world somewhere. But this is one of my favorite pieces. And I'll leave you go now to pan some of the rest of this. Oh, this is could you get this at the same time? This is a singing bird. We've all seen singing birds before. This one happens to be coin operated. This is what we refer to as a Klosky. It's actually a Clausen dice machine. This was the very first item that I ever got involved in reproducing. It all came about because a fellow collector, Ira Warren, acquired a trunk full of merchandise from the heirs of the Clausen family in, I believe, New Jersey. And in the trunk full of parts and pieces that he acquired, there happened to be about 35 mechanisms for this Clausen dice machine here. Ira, not being a person that was able to do anything with the mechanisms, made a trade with me at that time for a restored 1015 jukebox. And over a period of several years, I acquired an original Clausen dice machine and was able to copy the original and use the mechanism parts, the original parts that I had acquired from Ira to complete these beautiful machines. And it was not easy. In fact, after I finished the last one, I told my friends that they said, "Why don't you keep one?" I said, "I don't want to ever see one again." And in fact, I even got rid of the original that I had. I just never wanted to see it again. When you do something like this, and it's the first thing you've ever done like that, and the frustration that you run across, it's tough. So anyway, this is a beautiful machine. The prices on them since I sold them have more than quadrupled. They're about 7 times more than I sold them for originally. This one happens to belong to my friend Tim LeGanke, that knows a good thing when he sees it, and kept it all these years. And it's a piece that people that have right now, they just will not, they don't want to sell. I have a list of people that would like, if I ever found one, they would like to buy it. But I haven't found anyone willing to sell at this point in time. So I'm very proud of the workmanship of the machine, and I'm sure everyone that's got one out there is enjoying them, and it's had a something to the collection. But there won't be any more of these made. In fact, there won't be any more Puss in Boots made. The only thing, maybe something very small, but I'm finished with anything big like a donkey or Puss in Boots or Madame Zeta. In fact, there's only one Puss in Boots and one Madame Zeta left at this point in time.
Like, what kind of trouble did you find making that first one? Making one?
Like anything else, getting it to work. Troubleshooting. Getting it, I shouldn't say getting it to work, anybody getting anything to work, but getting it to work time after time after time flawlessly.
What did you make in there?
What's that?
What did you make?
Just everything's been is new on it except the mechanism itself.
Point to that, show.
The mechanism is inside. It's a cast iron side.
Open the door, show.
I just ran out of battery.
The mechanism is mainly up here. It's mainly it's a clockwork mechanism, and all these levers and having castings made. At that time, getting good castings made was easier than it is now. But getting the castings made and different pieces had to be machined. All this stuff here, it was very, very difficult. Burton found me all these little measuring things, little brass things. You catch that name, Burton? That goes back a long time ago. And a friend of mine that does printing did all the printing for me, and all those all had to be die cut. I wish I would have saved some of them, but I didn't.
How about that piece that Bob Ligon made for you?
Well, there's one special piece. This one piece on the bottom. It's a bar with a coin slot in it and 3 holes for screws that you hold down. My friend Bob Ligon that made some of these parts had the foresight to put a serial number on each one, and each one begins with the letter M for Mike, I guess.
Mikey, meant for Mikey.
And this one here, I believe, is 1125. So 1125 and a little above and a little below are probably the serial numbers that are out there. I should have kept track of who owned each one, but I didn't. But anyway, it's a wonderful piece, and the people, the collectors have appreciated it. I get calls all the time, do I have any more? Or if any come up, let me know. And Tim Leganke is a proud owner in Ohio here of one of the machines. And
1125?
1125, yeah. I sold him, I was an innocent young kid. He sees this machine I've got, and I just got it. And, to be a friend, nice guy. He said, what do you want for it? Well, just what I paid for it. I paid $7 for it. And I had to bring it from Wisconsin Dells, but I got a couple other pieces here. If you really want it, you can have it for seven. You're a big collector. Then I sold it, and then so many years later, it sold for $300,000.
I missed it. My card filled up.
Oh. What?
400,000. I don't know.
Let me see what's on this card.
But that wasn't the only time he took advantage of me. And, I understand. Business is business.
How did it always felt though, like you were taking advantage of me? How does that work?
What goes around comes around, I guess.
Did you guys ever buy stuff back and forth from each other?
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I never stuck him with anything.
I'd buy stuff from him and he'd steal it from me. That was the only difference.
Well, my parents were in the iron and steel business. My mother would iron and my father would steal. So I learned from the best.
Hold on.
I've been bad.
This is what he.
Okay.
This is what he gets for all the stuff he sold me that didn't work, that I had to fix, and then I had to sell
Jim,
and try to
Jim.
make money.
Yeah! To the moon! Wow. Man, that felt pretty good.
Well, good on my side too.